Okay, so I was kind of debating on whether or not I wanted to actually show this because to me, I mean, it's no big deal. It's just kind of a routine type thing. Um, but I'm looking at changing my headlights, mostly because if you can see down in there, I'm not sure if you can actually see. I can't see it on my screen, but the lens or the inside is cracked, and it does have a little bit of moisture does get in. Plus, they are pretty fogged up, and I know that I could sand that and polish it or paint it and clear it, but I don't see the point if it's cracked and it's got moisture inside the headlights. So I'm gonna go ahead and just swap those out real quick. Okay, something that I just came across with doing this is you kind of have to, be familiar with this. So my friend ended up putting LED lights in it. So if you see right here, those little 3 screws, they're for a lock ring that holds the actual light bulb down. Being that this is the new lens, it came with that lock ring, but this is how they were in there, was like that. Now, no criticism towards my friend, they just needed to get headlights in and were not really super familiar, but I just didn't want to hit a bump and have my headlights fall out and then have to faff around and stick my hands down in there. It's just not, it's not fun. It's not a fun situation. Now here's the one rub I can say. These are fan driven. This kind of blocks a lot of this air in here. So I'm really hoping that this doesn't burn these LEDs out with having that lock in there. But what I had to do to put the lock in is, hold on a second. Sorry about that. Okay, so the factory one, I don't know if you could see down in there, it had those little teeth like all the way around it. There was probably about 7 of them in there. So what I did was I just kind of took the bulb itself and see the little gaps right there, and they don't line up at all. 2 of them lined up somewhat close, so what I did was I cut all the other teeth out to that point and just left those 2, and then I just turned it around and fed the bulb through it, and just kind of popped it in each side and just kind of worked it around, and then it actually fits down in there and screws. So that's just something, whenever working on cars, you kind of need to know how to work around projects, or work around, obstacles, I should say. All right, I'm gonna get this done. And like that, I found a way to vent it around the lock. Just drill some holes in it. It was good. Yep. So the brakes came out looking pretty good. Nice and shiny. Stopped really well. And headlights came out looking pretty good too. Yeah, not bad. Okay, so I kind of wanted to throw this video up real quick. I had an idea for painting my valve cover, which I know it's like a Ricer Boy thing to do, but I don't know, it's something that clicked in my head, and I kind of want to see it through. So I got a little small PPS cup here and everything, and got gold, and I'm going to do something special. All right, we'll be back. Okay, so we got a little bit here. It's kind of, as you could say, step 1. And we're going to try something else. Bang, bang. I don't know if you can even see that on my phone, if that can pick it up, but let's see. There we go. I can see a little bit better. Oh, that looks cool. And it's not too much. It's not like overwhelming. You still see a lot more of the gold, but I put a halo flake. I got this like 0.0, is it? Yeah, right there, 0.008 flake. A lot of the websites I looked at said that you needed a 1.5 tip to be able to spray flake. But I have a 1.4 tip on my gun and was still able to lay that down there. Now granted, you don't really need a lot on this, like very little. I used just ever so, like, this is a half a teaspoon. Yeah, half a teaspoon. And I just talk about just the tip of this. Like, just barely put just a little tiny scoop and just kind of dumped it in there. And I mean, not much at all. Stirring it up with the stir stick, like I pulled the stir stick. Oh, I've already thrown the stir stick away, but like I stirred it up real good, and then pulled the stick out and like looked at the stick on the edge of it just to see what, the coverage on the stick, which would be a good measure of like the coverage on whatever part you're spraying. And this came out better than I could have freaking thought. It's like I had this idea in my head, and I was like, I want gold, but I want like a flake, like a subtle flake in it. And I think this is going to come out pretty cool, especially when I do this other part for the engine bay, possibly even two parts for the engine bay that I think is going to really, kind of pop on this. One bit is somewhat performance, and the other bit is more cosmetic, but it's, still something that's going to be pretty cool. All right, thanks, guys.